So what is an infrastructure to us might be the train tracks on which we ride. To a conductor who are fixing the rails, infrastructure, the ground turns into figure. So it's not infrastructure to everybody at the same moment.
Although sometimes I am thinking about the kind of roads and sewers, the kind of material stuff. I'm also kind of thinking about the labour through which these products circulate into bodies and
What constitutes infrastructure means things to people of different subjectivities, particularly if you're looking at the infrastructures of bureaucracy. But you could look at things like measurement standards, technical protocols, naming conventions, even the forms that you have to fill out at the doctor's office.
Thinking about it, it might be useful to think like what are the limits of infrastructure. It seems like almost everything you can point to in this room, from the projector to the camera to you to the seats, could be a form of infrastructure of some kind.
So this is a risk we run here in having such a capacious definition. There's value in seeing how all of these different systems and networks inform one another, but when you define a term so broadly and generously, you do run the risk of having it be all-encompassing. Shadow or pirate infrastructures, there is potential value in mapping those because it shows the insufficiency of existing services. It shows, for example, you could celebrate the resourcefulness of different populations. And what are the dangers then of mapping informal media infrastructures?
In the borough I live in, there's kind of volunteer-run libraries, and isn't there a risk of saying, well, this is happening, and then the government kind of further withdraw funding because you're showing that actually people are managing by themselves?
Yeah, by not showing the macro scale, you don't allow authorities to essentially pinpoint a specific location and target any individual actors. How do you make marks on paper? So one thing we're going to do is force all of us to agree on a certain notational system because that's how maps communicate with each other.
With, a kind of psychological fear was manifesting, this tragedy in a way, and not the bomb.
Normally, I would normally go out and see what's there, but and then start trying to put together a legend, but that legend now.
So going out with the legend in mind isn't really practical, as we don't know what's out there. You could not actively engage with people and just record parts of the space, maybe photographs.
Where are we going to go? Because this map covers more than just Russell Square.
Sometimes, probably you can use the quantitative, systematic sampling of some signs, but in my research design, it doesn't work like this.
You divide the whole project based on different levels of space, from the bodily through to the street to the district, and that these different spatial levels lend itself to different levels of analysis.
It could be more generalized, the ways that infrastructure get people to move or not move in certain ways. And you're saying, you're interested in places where that's defied.
And we were trying to construct some sort of hierarchy within our notational system about relationships to history and also to power. Power and no power.
Let more than one mark exist at a time. That way it might be possible to look at the map and say, here's concentrations of power, here's concentrations of history.
Because if that was a very common line that people were taking.
This was for this one it was 4 people cross, and then this one was only for 1 people.
Okay, so we were sitting here, and there's this guy sort of coming around here. I'm just going to very roughly approximate, and I reckon he was just kind of doing that.
And then the one there, just opposite this one on this corner.
Right on the other side.
Are we going to be able to...
So it was
Whoa!
I guess it's a case where you're kind of looking at the ways in which people were moving in and around the arranged infrastructure of the park.
What kind of motivation they would choose to use the desired route instead of the constructed route.
You can have digital map of this. You'd probably have the infrastructure as one layer, the trees themselves is another layer, the laborers pathway is one, the different individuals is their own layers. So that's kind of how you would make a GIS-based map that you could then turn on and off the layers to see how they intersect with one another.
But then, like, what happens if how do you like map? How do you use our layered approaches to mapping to map layering in the environment?
So on the edge of the park here, you have like buses and taxis, coaches. Equally loud in the middle was the appreciation zone.
There are three things here, all with peak frequencies of about 45 kilohertz, which then goes, is there some sort of common thing happening at each of these locations that could then be a route for investigation?
You have the people infrastructure hidden behind the hotel, smoking or the photo. So I thought that you need back streets to sustain the accessible high streets.
That is actually what that is lovely, actually.
And using hatching as a way to make gradations and zones of intensity, I think that works really, really well.
It's like a murmuration, isn't it, as well?
And also it's appropriate to feel anxiety about trying to make a really clear map, because when you're making a really clear map, it means that you're like bulldozing over something inevitably.